look at the 500 platform and say, all right, what about the DNA of these vehicles made through Fiats? And let's make sure that we do not destroy or diminish that in any way as we electrify it. The second step is to say, with electric powertrains, which are very quiet, very smooth, very torquey, how can we make sure that we calibrate this system to enhance those qualities which make a Fiat 500 into a Fiat 500? The displays were a challenge for us because we personally weren't EV drivers. So the first thing we did is we came up to the California market. We talked to some people who were living with the Cooper Mini E at the time, and we went to their houses and we cliniced them. And we said, all right, every day you're in this car, what's the important stuff that we got to make sure is in your face, and what stuff is just gimmick? You're going to find out that there are no leaves falling off on you. Okay? What am I doing? There is no brake coach in this car. Our braking system is very efficient. It does not need to be braked in a manner different than what you normally need to brake. So you have your state of charge. You've got a range prediction. We give you some range trend arrows, and we can talk in detail about offline if you're interested how we did that algorithm. Great regenerative brake system. But what we also did is we told the engineers, hands off the rest of the car. It's got a great 12-volt system in there. We just use the high voltage to keep the low voltage running, and don't mess with that stuff. You saw our slide earlier with the 7 features. That's the only changes that a gas customer, as they move to electric, those are the only touch and feel changes in this car. Very simple, very intuitive. We're not trying to do anything that is out of character with the vehicle. So as we were clinicking the folks, they gave us our cluster. They also told us a lot about that charge indicator, and Nicole's given you a lot of detail about that, but from an engineering standpoint, you can say, all right, engineer, I need you to make 5 pretty lights. And this is okay, I can give you 5 pretty lights, that's pretty easy. Then we took it a step further and said, I need you to be able to see those lights from 50 feet away with sunglasses on a bright sunny day. Oh, okay, well, those are special bright little 5 little lights, okay? And I need you to put them in a place in the car that I can, no matter where I am, I can see them. Oh. Okay, well, I guess those are special lights that are going to be very different, and they're going to be placed in the right spot. So, highly engineered, the wrong way, highly engineered little pod there that you don't even see when you drive. It's a feature that isn't even there until you charge the car. But we think charging the car is also an important part of owning this car. As you get into a coffee shop, get some public charging going, you're halfway through the latte, tip back, oh yep, I'm at about 60%, I can see where I am, I'm feeling good. I know it's charging, I know that I'm getting charged back. So it gives you immediate comfort that the charging aspect of your driving experience is totally on track, totally in control, totally as expected. The app, as Nicole went through some detail in, is another feature we put in the car again to make it very comfortable, very predictable, give you a lot of confidence when you drive that car. Okay? As you can see from the layout of components here, that battery is really big, it's underneath the floor. That actually did a few things for us to enhance the car. First of all, it's a 600-pound battery. It's mounted midship and aft in the vehicle, and we were able to shift the front to rear weight ratio by 10% rear burden. So the front to rear weight ratio on this is 53-47. You're going to really find that couples to the road wonderfully as you're driving those curvy roads up in the mountains this morning. We had to totally redesign the suspension to manage that weight and the new weight distribution. We actually raised the car by about 1/2 inch. We also lowered the ground clearance by about 1/2 inch, and in between those two is where that battery slid in. The battery is completely under the floor. So we did not take away any of the passenger compartment. We have the full trunk available. None of the things that we've seen come out on other vehicles that are trying to be 2 things at once. We made sure that the car is electric. It's got a great package. It's the same package you would know and love within the gas vehicle. Some numbers. We haven't emphasized numbers today, so I'm just going to run through them again and add a few more to them. 116 mile per gallon equivalent combined EPA rating. We're very proud of that number. 108 highway, best ever measured by the EPA. 122 sitting. You're going to get in that car, 87 miles of range per charge. You're going to get in your cars today, and most of them are going to be showing 90 or 90 plus because these cars love LA, and they've been driven all week by other journalists, and the car is learning the drive cycle from those other drivers. So it's going to say, you know what, you're going to usually get a little more than the EPA rating around here. So contrary to some other things that have happened in the marketplace, we are achieving our numbers every day. We think that's part of the simpleness and the honesty of this product. A couple of features I wanted to mention, which are really not apparent, but we think really add value to an electric vehicle. One is when you put it in gear and you're going less than 20 miles an hour, a little speaker starts making a noise under the hood. We call that Pedestrian Alert. Let's make sure we don't creep up on someone who could be visually impaired or otherwise and have them just step up in front of you, because no one wants that little surprise, okay? 20 miles an hour, the sound stops. When you go over 20 miles an hour, this goes away. Only when you're in gear. Second thing is if you get distracted as you're pulling into your garage or your parking space and you exit the vehicle when it's in gear, it goes to park for you. Auto shift to park. These cars are so quiet, there's no vibration, there's no real telltale other than the display telling you it's in gear and ready to go somewhere. You get distracted. We've had a couple engineers go whoops out of the car, it beeps, goes to park and goes, oh, I'm glad we put that feature in this car.
Is that actually the door?
Okay, how do we actuate auto shift to park? There's actually 3 tells we look for. First of all, 4, you have to be going under 2 miles an hour. We figure if you're jumping out of the car at 50, we're going to let it keep going. I don't know why the engineers do that, but that's just kind of how it is. But if you're under 2 miles an hour and your foot is off the brake, your seatbelt unbuckles, and the door opens. So 1, 2, 3, shift to park. We figure at that point you're intending to leave the vehicle. I want to talk a little bit about regenerative braking, because that's obviously a huge part of the car, okay? Basically, regenerative braking is engine braking, right? If you're going down a hill and you downshift into second gear, you feel that, pull, that's what our motor is essentially doing. What we do in electric vehicles is we just reverse the polarity and scavenge energy back, right? We're taking that kinetic energy and we're putting it back into the battery. Anytime that you brake or coast over 8 miles an hour, the engine's doing the work. If you step on the brakes really, really hard and we maybe exceed the capacity of the battery to accept more energy, then we blend in the friction brakes. We're going to make sure we're going to give you all the stopping power that you want right to the limit of traction. If you were to exceed the limit of traction, then the regenerative braking just kicks out and your full hydraulic ABS system comes online, your stability control comes online, and it helps you take that car to a successful stop. Okay? This is why we don't need a braking coach in this car. All of the braking on a normal stop over 8 miles an hour is engine. You're getting everything you possibly can out of this car. Matt talked earlier about eco button not being a feature. We actually looked at it for a while, and we told ourselves, if I can give the person 10% more range, I'm going to do it. And we totally neutered the car, got 3% more. Folks, day to day you're driving, you're going to get 3% variation just on your normal drive. So we said, you know what? No benefit, no feature. It's gone. Keep the car simple, keep the car honest.